All right, are we ready for
March 2nd.
one of our very, what would be the word, versatile artists? You may have only seen his sculptures, you may have only seen paintings, but he does everything, as you can see, so very interesting. And Carmine will be our first artist today, and Mario Paletti will be our second artist, so they're going to be pretty different from each other. But anyway, let Carmine take over and tell us about himself.
Thank you. My name is Carmen Stasi. I'm a painter, I'm a sculptor. There's a whole story. I'm nervous. I just want you guys to know. Where do I begin?
Right there.
Right
At the
begin? No, that's not where I want to begin.
At the beginning.
When I started this stuff, I was maybe 12 years old. Wow. And what I used to do was, I don't remember the Long Island Press. They on Sundays they used to come out on the parade, and in their parade they used to have this color by number page. Do you remember that?
No,
all right.
I did all those.
But what happened is they would have a monkey one day, and they would have a windmill another week. And I would sit down and I would draw these things. I would not paint what they gave me. I would draw them out and then paint them. My artistic, venture is not like a lot of yours. What happens with me is, when I was 12 years old, I painted for about 2 or 3 years, and I dropped it for 10. When I'm 20 years old, I picked it up again, and painted for another 4 or 5 years, and dropped it again. Another 10 years go by, I'm in my late 30s, picked it up again. And that's when I really started painting. And I'm just coming out of another 10-year flow. The reason why you haven't seen any of my work, I haven't done any shows, I haven't participated in any of these shows, is because I just didn't paint. I stopped painting. I'm just beginning to get back to painting again. The reason why I kept on coming here is because of my wife. My wife insisted that I continue coming to these. Well, I think she wanted to watch a soap opera. So it gives you some idea of where I am. I got this last time. I went so low in the act of art is that I actually felt what it was like to be a person that did not care anything about art. And that's when I sort of hit bottom. I said, I can't do this, this is no good. That's just like a woman walking into a football game and had no desire watching the game at all. And that's how I felt. And I felt like this for about a week, 2 weeks. Oh man, this is not good. That was bottom, and I started coming back up again. So I've been painting again. I'm really thinking about the last time I did any sculpture. Believe it or not, I know it's the year of the owl, but that was my last sculpture that I was going to start. It was an owl. I want to do something about this big. I have the face. I'm looking for its what would you call it? Frame, the armature, and I cannot seem to find the armature. When I stopped painting, the reason why I did stop painting was they took my subject away from me. I'll start by showing you what my subject was. This is what I had to paint. Right now, what is this? This is
Heritage Farm.
This is the ranches right now.
No, yes.
Okay, we're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of condos and houses and golf courses, and they just took the heart right out of me. At the same token, when it came time to doing sculpture, my sculpture was all found objects, all stuff that I would find in the garbage in the streets. And when the economy hit bottom and scrap metal went through the roof, you couldn't find a beer can lid anywhere. So that took a lot away from me as well. So I basically sat back and stopped. At the same time, I had surgeries, came down with cancer, and yada, 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 and that was part of it. So everything seems to be coming back into a swing. All right. That's that. So the good thing is that I am beginning to, this was my first painting. This goes back about 40, this goes back about 40, I don't know, 43, 45 years ago, all right? How I started painting, I know everybody says that I do a lot of work like Van Gogh or whatever the case may be. This painting was a little painting in a magazine about this big. It was a Van Gogh. And I turned to my wife, we were just married, turned to my wife and goes, this is how I would like to paint. She didn't even know I wanted to paint. And she says to me, well, that's a Van Gogh. Who the hell is Van Gogh? Honest to God, I had no idea who he was. I went out and bought orange, green, and yellow, and a brush. This is acrylic. And I sat and copied that and painted that. Now I'm on a roll. Right? This is my first, and I'm already experimenting. My wife says to me, my biggest problem is that I experiment too much. She doesn't seem to complain about it. This is done with sponges. I've done that. That's acrylic as well, and done with sponges.
Paint outside the box.
Yeah.
Well, that's another. I'm glad you brought that up, because as a child, I never painted outside the box. In my color, I always stayed inside the confines. And my goodness gracious, when you start, and I was thinking about this as well, and I don't think this is anywhere inside the lines. Where am I? Here we go.
Not a paint by number.
This is not a paint by number. You know?
Maybe a lot of numbers in that.
I like abstract. As far as I'm concerned, abstract is the hardest form of art. It is extremely hard to do.
Good abstract.
And it's
It's a study.
this is all palette knife, by the way. And whenever I do a palette knife, I think of Larry. When he puts out paint like that, and he tells me how expensive it is. Okay? And I'll take a glob of paint like that and go.
Just once.
And many a times, Larry, I laugh when I'm smearing paint on it on a canvas.
When you're alone and you think of Larry.
That's beautiful. This is not going anywhere like the way I thought it was going to go. All right, back to where I started. We had that painting, this painting, and then we started dealing with palette knife. This is my third painting, palette knife and sponge, and that's what happened. And then we started getting into. I tried that. Okay, whatever. These paintings are here about 40 years old.
That's beautiful.
All right.
Yeah.
That is absolutely
Okay.
beautiful.
That's that. Then fast forward into, I guess, 10 years, 15 years go by. I had my first back surgery. Doctors told me to walk. So which I was doing. In the neighborhood was an art store. So I was in the art store and I was playing with the brushes and, you know, looking at the brushes and what have you. And a guy comes out from behind the curtain, who was Nikki's husband, Jack Van Decker. Can you paint? Oh yeah, I can paint. You want to take a class? Yeah, okay, I'll take a class. All right, I'll give you a call, he tells me. He says to me, I'll give you a call. This was back in September, I guess it was. And I come home and I told my wife, I'm going to take an art class. So for Christmas, my wife buys me a art paint set. Then I'm waiting, and Jack calls me up in January of that time. Tell me, all right, so I went in and started painting with Jack. He taught me a lot. The man taught me a lot. I miss him. This is my first plein air painting. You can laugh at it.
That big?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
As you can see how badly
That's plain.
it's like.
It's called,
Tip of the scale. But that was my first attempt at, and that's basically,
it's leaning,
it was leaning.
the leaning tower of
Yeah,
pizza.
yeah, yeah.
It's still really enjoyable.
Straight,
The colors are great.
With all the textures you have in there, you made it balance out really.
Well, that's my basic, that was my first.
You can still fix it.
Then as you can see, I'm moving from, Jack showed me to get away from the canvas board to, what do you call it? Canvases. And I started producing, this is basically out of my head. I was watching, what's his name, Bob Ross.
Oh,
All right, watching Bob Ross, so I sat down one afternoon and we did a Bob Ross.
let's see where we're.
You went past him on this.
Yeah, much better.
Well,
than
that's all Bob Ross's technique, the
Yeah.
whole thing, all right? Then,
Using oil, Carmen, or?
using oil,
or-
always used oil.
He always used oil.
Never, I did some acrylic, not much at all. This was at a campground. Went
That's very
camping.
nice, I like that.
All right, and this was a bridge. I remember bringing this in,
Oh, the bridge,
and Jack telling me I would have to paint every little brick. And I said, that's not gonna happen. I took this and that's the way it ended up. But this bridge is upstate somewhere. I came across it once.
You won't like this at all.
yeah. Looks like-
No, this thing's
She told me
huge.
it's only one curve.
This is big, this is big.
Is it
this
big? This is 3
All right,
meters.
and that's,
Mm.
I think that, we're on a roll. Now we're going. That's Jack's class again,
I like his bold paintings.
and here's when he taught me how to paint negative space.
Okay. Beautiful.
Okay?
That's beautiful.
That is neat.
Gorgeous.
Looks like they're gonna sail right out of the canvas.
I like this painting. I like it because it's very frosty, has a very frosty feel to it, very cold feeling to it,
Yes,
And
cold weather.
I'm trying to keep up with what I've been doing.
I did too. I like it. The difference in the texture, the
Yes.
smooth at the bottom.
Well, see, now,
The knife at the top.
Fantastic.
no, yeah, but it should have been reversed.
That's acrylic.
What I'm doing is experimenting. Now I'm going to experiment. I'm experimenting with the palette knife, and I'm experimenting with. So what I was doing here in this particular case, trying to get like a rough texture with
It's wonderful.
the snow and whatever, all this stuff, and trying to keep it a very frosty feeling with the icy.
I think you did.
That's where I was working with that. And still coming up in.
He did capture that. It's, the light is on the snow. That means they look right there.
Now,
Oh, I think that's your technique.
Oh, that's nice.
this painting here, this is the second one I did like this. I gave the first one away, which I'm sorry I did. However, the first one that I gave away was with a blue sky. And I was still taking classes with Jack, and I started a second painting, and I started with a blue sky. And Jack goes, let me see you do it with a green sky. And
It's wonderful.
that's what came out.
I love it.
I love this sky.
Yeah.
What, you brush or you,
That's
knife?
palette knife. The whole-
Palette knife?
He used to tell me, it was like a plasterer, he used to call me the Italian plasterer.
It's wonderful.
I really enjoy putting, I really enjoy doing palette knife, I really do. It really has a good feel to it.
Look at the feeling of that.
So do you like doing sculpture?
What?
Use a power knife
No,
or
it's
brush?
not, no. No.
Because you've got
Oh,
the
how could I
texture.
explain that? No, I can't explain it. I have about 4, 5, 6, 7 different styles. And what happens with me when I paint, it's something inside, I start vibrating. No, seriously, that's the only way I could explain it. And all depends on how strongly I'm vibrating. It's the style that I use. Okay? When I was painting back then, in my early 20s, I would start getting very jittery, very jittery, and I couldn't figure out why. And what I used to do was go to the store, buy a canvas, buy some paints, bring them home, put them on an easel, and start painting. I would knock out a painting. I know a lot of you think I'm crazy, but it's knock out a painting half hour, 45 minutes to an hour, and I would go.
And took everything out of you.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I enjoy that. It's, yes, therapy.
Yeah.
Let me see, where am I? Okay, so I do portraits. And the thing is, as you can see, the portrait has to have color. I like movement. I like my portraits to be extremely strong.
This one, I remember this.
Oh, yeah, that.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry.
What about the other one? I remember that portrait. I
Oh,
remember
yeah.
that.
This is finished now.
Yeah,
This guy here, I got this out of National Geographic. There's another guy that I want to paint too. Believe it or not, this guy had a joint hanging out of his mouth. Seriously. Look at his eyes.
Yeah.
But I enjoy a lot of color, and that's the reason why I did paint him. And this was a black and white I found, and these are all my colors that I put in here.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Okay? How we doing?
Oh,
Not too quick, spoke too soon.
spooky, isn't he?
They got their glasses.
I consider myself a abstract impressionist.
Yeah.
There's paintings that I didn't bring with me that should explain this more. But that's what I think I am. I think I'm an abstract impressionist. I like abstract, and I like the feel right here between the sun and this one. And your eye seems to go back and forth with it.
Yeah.
And you see, and I like painting fog.
Yeah.
This painting here was, again, this was Davis's peach farm on a
Used to be.
Saturday afternoon in the summer, and it was all foggy out there. And here's another one. This is another fog piece.
That's
I
nice.
remember we were driving by and used to see you sitting there and painting. We stopped.
But look at
and
that, I
walked.
mean, it's just, I think it had so much to say, so much to do. I know it's foggy, but this is what I like, this is what I do. Has nice atmosphere, exactly.
That's an interesting part of Long Island, is the atmosphere and the mist and the fog.
I don't paint like that, but I like it. I appreciate it.
I can do it.
Again, palette knife. This is Davis's peach farm as well. Here are a couple of the peach trees that were there. Oh, yeah, this is very Van Goghish, right?
Yes.
Very
And
much.
same thing with this one here. This one here, I was up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. I scoped this place out a couple of days before, and I watched that sun come up. I was standing right here, whatever, watching the sun come up. over these trees. By the time I finished this painting, I was blinded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it was unbelievable. And when I was doing it, you could see it down here, that I didn't know, I couldn't see the canvas anymore.
That's amazing.
That's stuff
In the sky. Fun that is.
Um,
Fun that it is.
There was a time where I was trying minimalism, where if I could do a painting with one stroke, I would be happy. That was part of my downfall in this last part of the this last session that I've gone through. And where are we? Here they are. And I was doing things like this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
See, I was trying to be as minimum as possible, and at the same time, trying to work with that,
I love that.
Ah,
you know?
yeah.
Okay, almost there. All right, by that time I had this one-man show that came up, and the lady turned to me and said, "Do you have any sculpture?"
Oh, she is my person.
No, I didn't have any sculpture.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
Yes, there's some.
I didn't have any sculpture. But by the time the show came around, I had 4 pieces.
There you go.
Ah,
And what happened was, when I'm an electrician by trade, and I pick up junk. I'll pick up a piece of metal on the floor, and I was sticking underneath my seat, and my son who worked with me when he was 16, 17, 18 years old, and we'd be driving, had to stop short with the truck, and all this stuff came flying out underneath the seats. And he would go, "What are you going to do with this stuff?" I go, "I don't know, I like them." You know, I just like them. Stick up.
I was with you a couple of times and I felt embarrassed.
Just like
Does Paul look like that?
I gotta see, my wife and I went upstate, and we're going up across, I don't know what parkway we're going up, and we're driving along, and I'm going, "Wow, look at that piece," and it was bumper to bumper traffic. And I'm getting ready to stop the car, there was one piece, I saw a duck, you know, and another piece, I saw something, and wow, look at that, look at that, look at that. And we're driving up, and my wife's going, "Well, look at this, a farm stand." I go, "Where?" You know, and she turns to me, "Oh, you could pick up that stuff,
but no food.
but you don't see the farm stand." I'm not looking for the farm stand. Okay. So anyway, this piece, let's do a little sculpture. This piece here. This is my favorite, I think.
That's beautiful.
Like this,
That is amazing. That's something.
it's not a cow,
No. Oh,
it's not a bull,
Anybody
It's
have-
a ram.
it's a goat. I think it's a goat.
Hold from
And see the
Africa.
horns, see the
Hold it from
horns?
the legs.
I just found out what these horns are.
Hold it from the legs. So you can be seen better.
All right, hold on.
It's heavy.
It is, it's heavy.
It's heavy, but you can do it.
Is that better?
Yes.
I just found out what these horns are, and that's where the sculpture came from. It's a clam rake,
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it had more these
Should have
Okay.
6
horns on them. I ended up cutting them off,
Tines, tines.
tangs, and it's made out of a bookcase, a metal bookcase, and whatever.
It's
Okay,
amazing.
this-
Where did you get
Those
that so
feet, what are those feet there?
These feet are 45 fittings, plumbing fittings. And cut the little
So perfect, huh?
That's what I wanted.
Yeah,
and little tail. I was debating about bringing the, see how I did the back?
yeah.
I was debating about bringing the front the same way.
Yeah.
But as soon as I saw this, I says, no, 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 no,
beautiful.
That's
no, no, no.
fantastic.
I'm gonna leave it just the way it is.
That's a pitchfork.
It's like, what it is,
Pitchfork.
it's a hoe, it's like a hoe,
Yeah.
and it's upside down. That goes this
Down,
way,
yes.
all right?
That is something.
That's amazing.
Fantastic, I love it.
I love it.
And that is all welded together?
That's,
Well,
it's all,
Once you mix this.
it's all, wire, it's all wired together. Little, I used to rip my, see like that? That's how my hands used to come up. When I used to work on it for a few hours, my hands would be just ripped apart. From slipping my hands back into here, all the way to the back, and hooking these things together. The little pieces of wire and twisting them together and stuff.
Do you have an image in your mind, or is it?
No, sculpture happens. A painting you control. Sculpture, once you start the sculpture, it tells you what it wants. You don't have a choice. And that's one of the reasons why I stopped doing sculpture, because it was telling me what to do. No, it just falls into place. This fish here.
If you can produce that, you should let it tell you. Keep
Yeah, right, exactly. This, I saw, you see these?
Bring it forward so we
Yeah, I'll
can
bring it
see
forward,
it.
I'll bring it forward. This,
Look at the scales, oh my God.
see these scales? They're little, I didn't know what they were, I found them in a dumpster. And somebody threw them out, and what they are for roofing. And they take these little round guzzigometers, and they take a nail and stick a nail through it, and it holds the roof down. Okay? I built the whole face.
But what material did you use?
It's glue. It's epoxy. This whole face is made of. These teeth are. I was in a transmission shop. And I found these sitting on the floor. So I took them.
Guy's teeth?
The eyes.
See, but see something like that, you see something
The
else.
eyes. I had one set, and I had to build the other set.
Wow.
How I built it, I don't know. I couldn't tell you how I
But
built
it's a
it.
light.
But I built the other set. I had one, and I built this set to match.
But
The tail is.
it looks like a...
It's, you know those. What do you call it?
Trellis?
No. Shh.
it looks
You
like-
know the shelving?
Yeah.
The things that go on the
Yeah,
shelving?
Oh, yeah.
That's what those are. And these little squiggly things,
Yes.
Yeah.
I found them alongside railroad tracks. And they were fencing that they used at one time. And this is the cage from your fireplace screening. And I found this thing. I like finding this stuff. It's just I find it part of the art.
Sure.
Okay?
You saw the teeth. Nobody would think of it. What does that weigh, Carmine?
Huh? This,
You weigh that?
how much does it weigh?
Yeah.
Maybe 20 pounds. Maybe about 20 pounds. This is me before I went bald.
Explain what you got all those horseshoes and
I was in, my, that's what it
Hey, I
is.
had curly hair like that once.
And this here, this is a bull. This is a bull. Now this is a bull.
That's nice.
And what this is the end of a stove.
Oh, yes.
Old wood burning stove.
Yeah.
And this is an ice pick, an ice thing that they.
Icon.
And I had these two pieces sitting together for 6, 7, 8 months before I actually put them together. Because it just didn't look right. I wanted the ears and the horns to sit just right among all these parts together. Okay?
No, New York City. You need to go to a New York City show, because this stuff is big over there. Out here, they don't appreciate this.
Now, I brought these. These are my, believe it or not, these are my 2 favorite pieces for tonight.
Oh, yeah?
When I painted plein air, I used to bring these little boards with me. I used to bring about 5, 6, 7, 8 canvases, and I would bring some small stuff. And I would do a painting, and if I felt like it, if I had a little bit more time, what I would do is paint a small painting. Well, this storm was coming in. I don't know which one was first, but this storm was coming in, and I started painting the storm. I said, let me see, with lightning and thunder. And I started painting this painting, you know, and the storm was coming closer and closer. And I finished the darn thing, I took it and threw it into my van, and I said, let me see if I could do another one. Meanwhile, the storm's coming in closer, the lightning was getting stronger. Honest to God, I think a lightning bolt hit maybe where the wall was. Wow. And I'm painting, my van doors are over here, and I'm trying to get the last strokes in, and I'm rolling the stuff into the, this was about my best fun.
Was that acrylic or oil?
These are oils, as an artist, it's about the most fun I've had
Wow.
of all the paintings that I've done. Okay.
They're wonderful.
And both of these paintings must have been done in 15 minutes each.
Yeah.
Big brush, bang, bang, move fast, right?
Sun shining on that.
Yes.
Beautiful, I love it.
Yeah.
It is a star.
But I don't, what would you say, I would say this was the
That's
second
the best.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was,
second.
the
This is when
sun
the
is still shining in
start
that
coming
one
in
a
there.
little bit.
I like the sky on the second one.
All right. Then I do things like this.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's body.
It's a Van Gogh.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a vase.
What is it?
what is it?
Van Gogh, sunflower.
Copper
It's in copper.
embossing?
Yeah,
You did that on copper?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Will you hammer it?
Yeah, hammer and a screwdriver.
They call it repoussé,
Yeah, copper represent.
If you say, but
I have a piece that I can show you later, but
it's a body.
I worked on a thinner sheet than that. And you push and pull both sides.
Well, this is just bang, 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 you know?
Yeah,
Wow.
And
on copper, that's.
I have a few of these too.
But do you put a design on the back, or, you know, how do you work?
Well, there's the back. There's the back,
Yeah.
you know? And,
Oh, look at the back.
this is
Did you put
mine.
like
I
an
don't,
exit on the front?
this one I'm not getting rid of. This one is, this sits in my den. And I
Put it in your will.
put it in my will.
How did you get
Put
the
it in your
patina on it?
My,
The dark?
what's that?
How'd
Oh,
you get the dark on it?
believe it or not, I just took some black paint, rubbed it right in, and as time went on, the patina paint. This is about 35, 40 years old, so
Turn green though.
you're not turning green.
No, you gotta varnish it, you gotta
No,
spray
no spray, no
it.
nothing.
But the patina turns dark.
I think the
Yeah,
paint
You
but-
think the paint
stopped
stopped it?
Maybe that very,
it. Yeah.
but it's fine, I think it's nice the way it is.
Wonderful
I
way.
love the way.
Leave the patina on it.
It sinks in the line.
That's right, that's what it looks, yeah.
Sinks in the line.
Right. You can see it,
It defines it.
you can see it in the back. There's some of the,
Bring it up high.
Yeah, right, so we all can see.
Did you find that piece of copper?
Where do you find it?
Did you lose it? It's worth a lot of money today.
as a matter of fact, I did a lot of new housing. And you would be on the job and you go to the guy, what are you doing with that piece of copper?
Yeah, right.
You know?
That's the old days.
Back to the old days.
Now they
You
know
want-
what to
You
do.
want it? Yeah, I'll take it. And believe it or not, that was basically, it was a little bit bigger than this. And what I did was I took it and did what I had to do with it and
Cut it with shears.
cut it with a pair of shears, exactly.
Wow.
Very
All
good.
right.
I have a question, Carmen.
Sure.
Did you always want to be an artist or creative in some way, or?
When I
You
was,
say when you were first married, you told your wife you wanted to paint, and she didn't know, and you sound like you didn't know either. Did you
yeah,
always?
that's a that answer of mine was, I like to paint. I always, as long as I can remember, I always liked art. Always. I would see a painting somewhere and I would watch it, this big. It just was in me, I guess,
Yeah.
you know?
Your parents didn't.
And we're among
encourage you.
artists, we're all among artists, and you don't believe how, we're like 1% of the population, if that much, that are artists. You know, we don't know how lucky we are. This painting, I'm sure you'll see. This is my next door neighbor, John Johnson. That was Dale Johnson,
Oh,
okay? And Dale had a whole bunch of paintings when this is all high school art. And in the center of the, he knocks on my door, he knew I painted, and he goes, "You want some canvases?" I go, "Well, whose canvas?" "Yeah, my daughter's, we're throwing them out." I go, "You don't throw your daughter's canvases out. I don't care, they're going in the garbage." "You want them?" "Yes or no. Either you take them, or we're throwing them in the garbage." I said, "I'll take them. Obviously, I'm going to take them." This particular canvas,
Hate to say no.
you know, this is a nice
it's
canvas.
cool to say no.
24 by 24. And this particular canvas I liked from the very, very beginning. It was what she did, she had a sun, a big white sun here. And out of the sun were these little birds that came out of. The blue background was there. And I had visions of doing stuff like a dally on this canvas. I had visions of, I don't know, I think some seals that I wanted to paint on this canvas. And my wife and I, we went on a vacation. We went to the Cayman Islands. She wasn't feeling well. I went on shore. I brought my camera with me, and I was walking through the streets. And I came across this church. And I took pictures of this church. And I came home, looked at the pictures, and I decided to put this church on this canvas. I'm kind of happy with it. I kind of like
And you
it.
use the blue sky
And I
from
didn't
the
touch her
left.
sky, and I didn't touch her birds.
That's
And a
wonderful.
lot of the white is hers as well. And that's what came out.
I just love this, I don't know why.
Almost there.
He does.
Here. This,
You're thinking of it.
this is one of my last paintings that I did when I was painting strong. This was on a Sunday afternoon, early September. You can start seeing the little reds coming out in the painting. Okay. And where else? So we're almost done. Oh, this painting here. Last painting, December 31st, 1999. The last sunset.
Beautiful.
It was quite a sunset.
You're poetic too, you know, Carmen?
Huh?
Yeah.
You're a little poetic,
Yeah,
as well as
I
artistic.
don't know about that. Anyway, see this
he's
thing?
hiding.
Yeah, that's very
Oh, that I love.
I love that one.
Turn it so we can.
I'd be afraid to look
Looks like an
at
alien.
Turn it to the camera.
If I hooked that though on while I was fishing, I'd be
They
scared.
all wish that looks like that.
The sick part about this was, the reason why I brought this sculpture and this sculpture, when I did this sculpture, I was trying to do that. And when I did this sculpture, I was trying to do that.
Vision in mind.
So it gives you some idea of what sculpture does. This is done with all copper pipe inside.
I don't even guess the
These
stuff.
eyes are from a chandelier. I hung this lady's chandelier for her. So I said, I tell you what, you see that chandelier? She goes, yeah. I says, I'll hang you a new chandelier for you, give me that old chandelier. And you gotta see the pieces that I've gotten off of this chandelier. These glass parts. I still have a whole box of all these little knickknacks and stuff that I got from them. And then,
Stand for the sun.
oh, you gotta see my basement. My basement does look exactly like that. I have a junkyard down there. And now my garage is getting that way. Now it's hard.
What is that made out of?
This is made of canvas. It looks like leather, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks like canvas. And I built the whole thing, and then I took and I just mixed this color, and I just rubbed it into it to make it look like Gillette, what's called it?
What are the teeth made out of?
Nails. I took nails, and I drilled holes, everything is, you have to think, it's like a chess game, you have to think ahead of the game, okay? And these nails, I sharpened them to make sure that they are
Now,
sharp.
you have a
I
wire? You have a wire
No,
on the
no,
center?
this is all pipe, it's all done, it's all bent
How
pipe.
is it stand on the stand place?
Oh, it's, I have it in a socket,
In the socket.
this comes off.
Oh,
The,
very beautiful.
Then, I would paint, I painted big, I painted small, and then I painted this thing.
Yeah,
That's beautiful.
Nice.
That's awesome,
That's me.
that's awesome.
What year is that painting?
This painting's fairly new.
Okay.
Just a couple more.
Yeah.
Now, the skies, when I painted skies, I look for
This
these,
is technique.
I look for these skies. I look for the yellows and the, things here. I'm looking for the reds, I'm looking for, I'm trying to be a little bit different. That's all palette knife. And one of the problems with Long Island is you can't park here, you can't park there. I did this painting under a no parking sign. And I'm painting this painting, and I turn around, and there's a cop car sitting right there. And they must have been watching me for a good 10, 15 minutes. And I turned to them and I says, you want me to leave? Oh, no, it's all right, stay there. Right under a no parking sign.
So you painted?
Yeah.
I love that.
That's that.
Today's wonderful.
Very good, Carmen, very good.
Anybody have
Any
questions?
questions?
Yeah.
You're astounding.
No?
Where do you think you'll go from here? I mean,
I think
you've
this
done
is
all kinds of
technique.
techniques, but do you
I-
think you'll try something different?
This is wonderful.
No, he's
You
changing.
enjoy doing this one?
Right now I'm painting big. I'm not quite just big,
Yeah.
but I'm painting bigger, and I'm painting more abstract, abstract impressionism. I'm doing a painting right now of all these trees against this background of orange with yellow floors and
What color?
orange.
And yellow.
Danielle.
Are you gonna take your sculptures to a new level?
Well, no, can't take your sculptures to a level. Whatever happens, happens. Like I said, my next sculpture, I think, will be the owl. That's the last sculpture that I left off with, and I just didn't feel like touching this stuff anymore. I just didn't want to. I started paintings where I would go halfway or a quarter of a way and just turn around and walk away and not come down to my studio for another 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then I was tired of looking at the one that I started, and I would start another one. Start another painting, and the same exact thing happened. I would be bored out of my gill. I would go into my garage, start taking parts, playing with parts as far as the sculpture goes, and just turn around and walk away. I'd go back inside and turn the TV set back on again. It was just, but lately, it's very interesting because at the end of the night, I'll paint to about 8:30, 9 o'clock, come upstairs, watch a little TV, and then what I would do is go upstairs, go to bed. But I've been noticing that I've been going downstairs again and just eyeing the painting, which I used to do all the time. Eyeing, just looking at the painting, looking at it, seeing what I need, what I don't need, what's going on, how I like the painting, how it's working. Where am I going to be in the future? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Again, I'll probably do a palette knife, I'll do a brush, I'll do a palette knife and brush, whatever. And that's that.
You're on an exciting journey.
Thank you.
Yes, you're really.